sparked up November ideas. We can jump into good trade, bad trade.
Yeah, I'll start. I don't have a ton to talk about today. And this was, I was just filming something with Heaven where the main point of the psychology aspect was like, you kind of have to just trade trades on your own and not worry as much about what the market's doing. So I might have made a mistake in this tandem, TNDM. This is good trade, bad trade. I don't, I mean, I made it, I did really well with it, P&L wise. I bought this 6150 here, and I kind of just sold into the 6869. So I don't want to have to. This name is so flashy and pulls back so hard. I had a huge position in it, relatively speaking. So I just took my cash. I'm a little worried about the market right now. So maybe I did the wrong thing because it looks like it's about to flag out through highs. I'll buy this back, no problem, through 68, 69, 70. But I feel like taking profit where the market is right now is not that bad. And my other trade is a CTAS, which I sold most of yesterday, and I sold the rest today. Similar thing. I shouldn't be selling these stocks. They're just they look good. I bought it. This is obvious where I bought it. Bought it right here through this little flag before highs. Boom, takes out highs, and I sold into 283, 284. Is it right? I don't know. Time will tell. But I'm comfortable with what I did and with the money I made in it. I didn't want to deal with that pullback. I didn't want to give it back. And if this was 2 months ago, so it brings me to a good point. Yeti right now, the setup in Yeti right now is so much better than what it was when I was like obsessing over it. The daily setup, this little base it's making, but I just don't believe the market can. It's not going to propel things until we get a pullback. So it's like this is probably one of my favorite charts out right now. Of course it is, but it's like where the market's at. I don't want to put on that major risk and get smoked on the third month on the last day of this run. So am I doing the right thing? Am I not? Time will tell. I'm comfortable with the decisions I'm making. And that's really the psychological aspect you got to get to. What about you? What names you got for me?
So I have a quick question because I was talking with Joseph Park before about, and we were talking about how like for me, I focus on kind of one entry, one exit, or two entries, two exits, and just trying to trail it and get out. And you're more of you buy a bunch, you sell some, you buy some, you sell some, like you're a little bit more active. And for this tandem, I remember we're in Vermont, you had 2,000-3,000 shares in the drive up, and you were just holding it, so you rode a pretty easy and awesome move, and you kept a big chunk of it where you normally would have sold some into strength. So the fact that you were away from the computer for those 2 days, you think that you made more holding it? Or if you were in front of the desk, you might have been able to sell more or make more.
No. It's funny because, so do you see 3 days ago where it had that huge tail? That what was that, Friday when we were snowboarding? Or was that, what day? Oh, today's Wednesday. No, that was Monday when I was like not buying a computer. So I just set my stop like where was it at this point? Below 60 or something. Originally it was below 58 area. But like I completely would have taken some off when that previous low day broke if I'm in front of the computer. So I got such a nice lesson in just setting stops, being away, like not letting the size intimidate you and stuff like that, and the P&L swings. And it was a nice little refresher about like just letting things go and not over trading it. As I just explained how I probably over traded this.
So, I mean, hopefully I'm going to send this to Joseph Park because we talked for an hour and a half about just the simple trading and stuff like that, especially for the newer guys.
Yeah.
This was like a good example from your side of things. For mine, we're going to do CRM, which was trade of the week.
Jeez.
I mean, the bigger picture idea. And again, both are 166, 167. And Brian Trung was asking, he's like, why are you trailing your stop so tight in this? And the reason, and I got out of it today down through, I guess up to out, 180.89. So very close to like the low day. And if you type up, say, DFS, for example, if you draw a horizontal line over 82
I have it drawn
in like July, we can see that same, breaks 82, runs 92, 10% move in 3-4 days, very vertical move. It's very hard for a lot of those types of very fast vertical moves to sustain and just rip higher. So seeing that DFS, see it rip 10%, come right back, I'd rather take the profits and let it pull back than try to give it some, random out and just get shaken out in a couple of days anyways. So again, 20-point move, I caught 18 points of that move, so I caught the meat of it. And I have no problem. If it goes higher, I don't care. If it goes back, I'll buy it back again. And yep.
I could not agree with you more here. It's because it's so funny. It's like when you have a trade, you want to be systematic about selling, but you also have to take what the stock is giving you. And so I was talking to someone about this LK trade yesterday, where I had size at 22, like size. So, but when it made that fast run up to 30 and then eventually 32, I had to sell like 80% of it because realistically, what it should pull back do when it consolidates, I don't want to give that back.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll have a long-term move in it, but like that's a risk-reward thing that I have to decide to make. So like the moves you got in that DFS and that CRM, I'm completely with you on the side of taking them off. So I like to leave a little runner or something like that in case it wants to get silly, but that's not where I'm making the bulk of my money. So I think selling wise, you kind of have to. Every trade is different, and you kind of got to take what the stock is giving you. So I like. Just the fact that like the 8-day simple moving average is like $3 below where CRM is trading right now. It just can't sustain that type of move. It has to pull back or it has to go sideways. So it's like, do you want to give up that profit or you just want to lock it in? It depends the type of trader you are. But I think in those quick moves, you got to lock it in. I'm with you.
Of course. And then the second one was this MELI. And I'll give another, like a different example to kind of relate to why I did this. So, but you can see that flag through 600. I bought up through 600, and again, I was talking with Joseph Park about the same thing, where we see those two little inside days that held 600.
Yeah.
My stop was literally 599.89, low at 606 cents. So you're talking a difference of 15 cents, and a $600 name kept me in for 2 days, and then it ran back to 700. It ripped 100 points. And again, it was the same thing.
Holy
but
shit.
You being away with Tandem, I was with you in Vermont, not watching this either, but I had to break even stop. And once it retested that 700, we talk about this all the time, where usually when a stock retests the highs, it tends to get met with sellers because a lot of people who were buying 700 before are now trapped. So I had just a lower day stop, 669.89, and I got out and I made 70 points on 15 cents of risk.
That's nuts.
Which is just, I don't know if I can say that.
Whoa! I'm gonna bleep it out.
Yeah, that would bleep that out. So that was like something just, I wasn't watching it. I bought what I wanted to buy. I had a break even stop. I took the meat of the move, and I just knew going into the retest that it was probably going to get met with resistance. So I just got, just like CRM, as much as I could out of the trade with, I guess, little as risk as possible.
That's what
and then
we
I get,
do. All right,
yeah. And then I guess for bad, it's just stuff that hasn't gone. Like I had this IBM that I bought through 136. It just hasn't gone yet.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's coming. Oh,
yeah.
I haven't seen this chart in a while. I like that.
So that's, I got, EXPD that's working pretty good through 78. Duncan that I bought off 74, 75. That's doing pretty good. Waste Management through 114. That's hanging out. And then still Amazon and this Triple M.
Are you still on Amazon?
Yeah, still on Amazon.
I think Amazon could back this 1840 into support. I'm actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red days. After it just broke out of a base, it could be turning that to support soon.
Yeah. So this was one last thing I'll touch upon that me and Joe were talking about when we're talking about how to move your stops, and we talk about every trade's different. Where in this Amazon, we talked about in prior ones where we bought up through 750, we bought up through 770, we added 1800, and some of the guys wanted to buy 1900. And for me, I was like, I got good stock down here. I don't want to mess up my price and buy this 1900 and bring up my cost that much. So at this point, I still got to give it to like 1800. This can still easily be a break-even trade or like a very tiny gain if it does come back there. But if it can hold, like you're talking about, hold 1850, hold this 1825, and start to get some legs and work its way back up, then I have to hold for that 2000. And if you could zoom out a little bit and you can draw like a line over 2040, we can see that.
This is going to be the trade of 2020.
Yeah. But just to relate back to like that MELI of selling at 700 was like this retest in July when it gets back to 2040, everyone thinks it's going to rip to new highs and then it comes right back. So that was one of the reasons why when MELI got to 700, it's like, I've seen this retest so many times. Just take the gains. If it comes back, buy it back. If it breaks 700, you can add back later.
Yeah.
So hopefully those are some, where the stock's